is going to be my typical style, where I'm gonna morph this information specifically for filmmakers, and at the end of it, I want you to walk away with something exciting, something fun, okay? And guys, before we jump in and start swimming in this Kool-Aid, let me say it one more time. I will be doing a live webinar next Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. You do not want to miss it. It is ACES for beginners. I'm going to be taking you through what is ACES, how to set up your project in ACES, how to grade. I will be picking 3 winners at the end of the training. So registration is free, but we have limited seating. So click the link below to join. And if you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more awesomeness. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, and let's roll the intro. So let's start with the history lesson. You ready? Sir Isaac Newton was the first scientist who came up with what he called a color circle. It was built off of 7 main colors on the spectrum, okay? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. So R-O-Y, Roy, G-B-V. That's the current 6 color spectrum that we see. And you can see it on this chart. It is measured in nanometers. We're looking at a wavelength that starts at 380 to 780. And basically, this is what a human eye can see. Now let's move on to something familiar to most of you, which is the CIE diagram. You've seen this before, I'm sure. It's also known as the horseshoe, just the shape of this diagram. And what we're looking at is exactly what we saw on the spectrum, all right? So you can now spot these values. If you look to your far right, you see the number 700. And if you look to your bottom left, you see 380. These are nanometers. And this is what a human eye is capable of seeing. And then within that, we have different color gamuts. In this example, we can see sRGB and Adobe RGB. And then this middle point right in the center of that triangle is what's called a D65. And that's basically, in computer's language, a proper white point. This is what computer declares a proper white point, and that's D65. So hopefully all these numbers that you might have probably seen in the past and just didn't really know what it was, it's starting to make sense now. Now, let's move on to the fun stuff. So what I want you to do is, when you look at this color wheel, I want you to split it in half. I want you to look at the right side as cool tones, left side as warm tones. And this is very important, whether you're a filmmaker, cinematographer, or a colorist, to identify this, because when you're going to be creating certain moods, just knowing that off the top of your head could be very helpful, okay? And now if we dive deeper into that color wheel, what we get to see is that it's broken into these different categories, okay? Ultimately, there are 3 main categories. You got hue, chroma, and value. Hue is basically your color. It sits on the top part of the wheel and it rotates in 360 degrees. That's where all your color.